You're watching Cheche live on Citizen TV. Today's guest is the chairman of NACADA, John Mutudho. We spent a lot of time dealing with alcohol, and we seem to have focused on lower income Kenyans. But what about people who are drinking in the safety of their homes but still have a problem? They're alcoholics, they're addicted to various substances. Is that a problem for you, as long as it doesn't spill over into the streets, or how do you approach that?
It's a problem. It's a problem because, you see, and if you got a CEO who has an alcohol problem, it's a problem to NACADA, because we need these CEOs to generate jobs, to propel the companies to higher heights and other areas. We can't ignore them. And that's why, if you look through at, we have been going to a place called Cherangani. Along the Cherangani Hills, a very quiet place. And we are looking at establishing a 7-star rehab center for this kind of people. People who have gotten affected by alcoholism and they are already embarrassed about it. Instead of them dying in their homes and pretending they have been in a meeting, let them go through a treatment program. There are good treatment systems which are designed in Chicago, others from Moscow, pretty good for those kind of people, shorter term, but which can help them go through that. It will be kind of a hotel arrangement so that you have you and your family or your loved one.
Almost like what you have for the stars in, you know,
yes,
Western
for the Kenyan, because we have a problem. It cuts across from the poor to the rich. And for the common mwananchi now down there, for the free service, I talked of very expensive, and now we come for the free service. We're already discussing with a group from Muranga, and I was there, I've been there twice. And we have agreed now that we do not have a big budget to deal with treatment, and nobody can afford 10,000 shillings per month or even per 3 months. Let's do it free as NACADA. And how we're going to do it is that we are going to have an improvised accommodation arrangement. The same type of doctors are going to do it, the same medication, the same detox procedures that are going applied for everyone. And then it's going to be free treatment so that we reduce the demand. We help them reduce. We don't have so many youth going bust because of that.
Tell me what you'd make of this observation that not enough is being done because the alcoholic menace seems to, target poorer Kenyans, and that because these are poor people drinking cheap drinks, that if the obverse happened, that if we saw middle and upper class people dying, 60 people here, 20 there, due to a batch of, a bad batch of, I don't know, whatever brew or spirit, that we would see quicker action.
The more medium, the numbers are big sometimes. Also, you look at how this population distributed. The poor are more than the middle income.
No, but the
group.
point is, if you had 20 people, dying or going blind at one go due to a poisoned batch, a toxic batch of whatever, beer people, usually take, or spirit, that we would see a bit more outrage.
Yeah, we don't have outrage, but if you go and discuss with the pathologists, the top pathologists in this town, they'll tell you that two people who are said to be at least top of people who have means beyond ourselves die every weekend because of alcohol poisoning of one form or another. If you go talk to the pathologists, which I do, if you talk to the people, if you look through people who are dying, they will never admit that they died of alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look through the hospital...
I'll make the point.
But the likelihood is that you're not going to find those dying, because they are the ones who are dying from these poisonous substances are because they cannot afford the good ones that are better made.
Yes, and so if, for instance, something happened and there was a bad batch of the, more expensive drinks, and you had 20, 40, 60, 100 people dying in one incident, there would be a different response.
And let me first of all say that you need to study how many people are being treated in India as of today. There are over 3,000. I suspect over half of that, over 1,500, have something to do with alcohol. Alcohol has this characteristic that once you take alcohol, it's such a big hurry to go to your system that from the throat down up to the stomach, it's already getting in a hurry. It never goes on to your intestines. And because of that, it's able to carry with it a lot of those poisons. So I suspect most of these cancer cases you have, kidney cases, and liver. And of course, with my apologies too.
Okay, moving forward, what are we expecting? What do we expect coming forth from NACADA in terms of the remedies that you are crafting to address this?
Number one on alcohol industry is total sanity, from manufacturing to not consumption. Consumption is your choice. You can drink all the alcohol. In fact, to drink 24 hours, all you need is book yourself in a hotel. The law allows you. You can drink 24 hours or in the comfort of your house. You can drink as much as you want. But we want you to get drunk, David, and be safe tomorrow. So we are going to guarantee that the alcohol within our border is safe to drink. It's alcohol. Right. It's not a poison. That's number one. We are also going to make sure that the people who are who are dealing with alcohol, trading in alcohol, are responsible people. From manufacturers all the way to their distributors and to the bar people, they are responsible. They are not kind of people who are going to inject cocaine, heroin, marijuana into concoction into drinks. For people who never applied to take heroin and cocaine in the first instance. Yeah. That one we are going to do. And doesn't take weeks, that takes days. Yeah. Because right now, as I'm saying, if we come to the 16th front, I really wish you send your crew for the sake of your viewers.
It doesn't take short, because we would have done it. That's not true. The problem in this country is enforcement, and that's why I want you to address. Are you going to get your own police? Because our regular police doing about law enforcement are not doing it. That's where the problem lies.
Everybody.
Or what empowerment do you need?
Everybody says, yes, we should get our own police. The cartels say no. Yes. But even if they said no, they will not gag Mutu. They will still come here.
Well, what do you say?
So what is the remedy to that? Because clearly...
Do you want prosecution and enforcement?
I don't want prosecution.
Do you want investigative?
Investigative, and then you do need to file and hand it over to the people who prosecute. All you need to do is to ensure that there is immediate action when a case is reported, like the one you are reporting from Kisumu. If it is true that we issued a circular, if it is true that that product is still in the shelves somewhere, by this time I should have sent a signal so that that unit goes there to track down those people. And we have that thing withdrawn from the market. But now, if the OCS of the area and the chief are already in the game, how do I control as Mutudo now? Yeah. So I'm not asking.
How do you address that problem? That is where the failure is, really. The enforcement part.
I've done a shortcut. I have a number 1192. 1192 is we created recently. It used to be a counseling number, but now it is an emergency response number. It's a toll-free number, and we have received about 3,362 distress calls.
But I called it last night, and it didn't go through.
Yes, it may not have gone through. I'll come to that, maybe. But if you call again and again, it will come, because it's a very busy number.
It didn't go through. It wasn't that it was busy.
1192?
Yes, I did.
What time was it? And I could investigate.
I called at about 7.
In the evening?
Yes. And it's supposed to be 24 hours.
Yes, I'll pick that one, because we have our own internal problems sometimes. And we found out recently that within about 5 weeks, we picked 3,363 calls. Out of that, I personally can certify and show records that 2,025 were acted upon by the police. The way it works out is that once you report a case, it is first of all, you're protected. They don't disclose who you are, but after confirming, they'll call you back from that number. Once they check whatever you are reporting, then they send that message to police headquarters. They also send that police to me. They send that one to the PS Interior and also to the CEO immediately. So there are about 4 or 5 people who are interested with that particular message. And it is not easy for the OCS now to just ignore that particular message. Now, when we came the other day, when we did that one, it was during the crisis, and we took casual laborers because we did not have time to advertise, to come on and now man this thing. You need 6 people per shift who are knowledgeable. Yes. Now, I understand another arm of the government does not want us to have the casual laborers one permanent staff. To do permanent staff, you have to go through the whole cycle. So we are trying to go through that and trying to relocate our own staff so they can come and manage that center. Those are the challenges.
Interventions. Interventions.
Let me ask you about your job.
Yes. Wait, just a minute. Interventions about arresting these situations before they get there. I mean, do you have interceptive capacity, intelligence gathering, undercover agents to go and find these drinks before they are consumed.
Under Section 50 of the Mutudho laws and Section 19 of the Nakada Act, we are supposed to hire a certain category of staff who would offer that service. But for strange reasons, from 2010 to 2012, they have never been hired. Again, Mutudho is new in Nakada. I will need to come here after a few weeks and then ask me, why haven't you hired? I discussed with the CS, Olelenku, the other day, and we are saying now we must do it. We must appoint certain people. And these are personalities of known character, people who are known by the community to be good people in particular areas. These are hired as informers or enforcement agents as provided for in the law.
Right.
So why they never acted on that thing from 2010 is your guess. That way you would have strengthened enforcement. If you strengthen enforcement, then the police and the chiefs will not have a chance to come on and do what they do best. You will not have had the 700 bars at Umoja if that section was already...
And the casualties.
So I wanted to ask, what is your job?
I'm a chairman of the board.
I thought chairman of board just chairman. They sit for board. Now it looks like you are executive.
I'm not executive per se because...
The way you're working is you're executive. In fact, there was a matter raised in the press the other day about your job and your CEO.
You know, today I'm dressed in blue or black, whichever color you look at. If you are chairman of Nakada, you are supposed, and you like to stick there following the statute governing about 280 chairmen who are in the parastatus. I have a choice to sit down and chair the board for 30 minutes only, or up to 1 hour, 4 times in a year, and I earn my job. I earn my salary.
But you have a chief executive.
Wait, I'm just telling you the options I have. I have an option to just come. I'm the chairman of the board. I even have a car. I will have everything that is required, but I only do a meeting. The law says you must do at least 4 meetings in a year. That's the law. So every quarter you have at least a meeting. And the meeting can last about an hour or thereabout. And then there you are. You direct on the policy. There you are. Now, when you are dealing with T-Board, for instance, and I'm not bemeaning T-Board, and a former chairman of the Agriculture Committee, I know what entails the chairman of a T-Board or coffee board or other thing. The ball game there is different. If you're the chairman of a BOG, the story there is different. When you are dealing with alcohol and narcotics, then you have other instructions. The principal instruction comes from the head of state himself. He tells you, because of the sensitivity of drugs and alcohol, you are supposed to do certain things, which I don't need to discuss. If you come on closer now, you talk to the parliament. I look at the Hansard, and the Hansard, the way to look at is at the point of appointment in that big debate, and also at the point when they were passing laws. What did they want to achieve? And I have those manuscripts now. Then you come on to the laws now, the statutes. What do the statutes say, and what's the threshold, and what have you to do? Like today now, for instance, after this, and you will appreciate...
Why do you have an MD?
No, I'm coming to that. Like today, yesterday we had a meeting with our minister, Cabinet Secretary Olelenku, and we found it necessary for me to have an urgent board today at 10 in the morning. Normally, to have a meeting, a board meeting, you require 14 days notice. The law says we have 14 days notice to have but now when people are dying in Nandi, and you are the chairman of Nakada, you cannot wait. You don't have the luxury of time to come and do those things. How it works out is like this. The stories you hear about Mutudho earning 400,000 shillings in 1 year, the stories you hear, understand, they are cartels. Cartels operate at various levels. Crippling Mutudho's operation is top agenda now. In fact, I can tell you for free, in Muranga, I don't know whether you come from Muranga or another place, they held a Harambe the other day.
So you have considerable pressure, both from the cartels that you're trying to close down, but also from politicians and administrators who want you to deliver.
In fact, politicians this time round are pressurizing me, like even now at the waiting room here, there was a member of parliament, and everybody, 2 of them came, Honorable Chanzu and Honorable Ndegwa, they were there, and they are telling you, go to perform and come to this threshold. They are pressing on. And
Mutegi is keen to find out what is your...
What is the role of
how do you work with the CEO,
with the CEO?
And the institution?
Why is he there?
How is the institution functioning under your very able and eager leadership?
Okay, yesterday I said, like today we are doing the board meeting. The CEO is very busy trying to bring into the board all those things that we said should be done. We had a long discussion with him yesterday. And now he's working on that one, the paperwork, to check on this, like we're talking about the status of now, how far have you gone with this question of testing of alcohols, how far have you gone with this and all that. There's a team that will work on that one once you take a decision. But me, I do not come and do the procurement and come and supply or come and call the board members to come and all these kind. There are people there who are working.
Do you think in circumstances that your mandate needs to be revised to expand it a bit so that there are no issues about whether you are crossing your mandate and running the institution and performing?
In fact, on that final question, like you're putting it, I would like the media to at least be fair to Kenyans and tell Mutudho is contented with his small salary of 62,000 shillings. I don't admire his salary for 600,000 shillings. I am happy to deliver to Kenya a sane society that is dealing with alcohol. I'm able to
but
give
you know this
policy
society of rules and laws and regulations, and that's what I'm saying. Do you think your mandate should be expanded a bit to accommodate your energy and desire to serve better? You know, just regularizing what you're doing. That's what I mean. Or not?
I think so, but to this extent, that I'm not involved myself in procurement. I don't want to go to doing this signing of checks.
Yeah, that can be assigned to the CEO.
Those things.
You can be an executive chairman, and that can be assigned to the CEO.
I refine myself to doing what I'm good at. And,
championing the fight.
Let me also say, championing. I'm the only EBS from the 10th Parliament, following my best performance on the floor, and I did 5 bills, so I understand the law. Let me also praise myself, because you see, it's important.
That's true.
You know, it's important.
Yes.
So if somebody could give me that environment, which is very basic, that will allow me advance policy-wise and the direction. So I'm not interested with coming to get somebody at Kawangwal, one drunkard there, to go and pick him and put him in a Land Cruiser. That is not the chairman's work. But to come and look at the underlying principles as to why that man came to the street at that particular time and at 8 in the morning, then that comes to work of the chairman. If I'm facilitated to that extent, then I'm very happy.
Okay, so we're winding up, and I'll ask a final question of our panel. We've talked about NACADA. We focused on the interventions, but also NACADA's work. Parliament was critical of NACADA's performance and of Mr. Mutudho when he appeared there, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Do you think, given everything we've heard this morning on the show, that NACADA should continue to exist? David, I'll start.
Absolutely. I think NACADA should continue to exist. There is no doubt. But the mandate is very clear. What I have... there are gray areas about his mandate and how he's pushing the horizons of that mandate of NACADA. But it needs to exist. I think the biggest failure, and I think people are pointing at the wrong institution, is in the enforcement. So unless they transfer enforcement to NACADA, it's no pointless blaming NACADA, whose mandate is only monitoring research and advisory. Yeah. They should have a not a prosecution, but a wing that apprehends or stops.
An investigative role. Mutegi, what's your take? Have they done enough? Should they continue to exist, NACADA?
I think he's doing more than he's employed to do. Given if he only gets the 2,000 and whatever he's doing, transforming the country, I think we need to expand his mandate and his role. I think they're good. He's doing a good job. Like Makari says, the problem is not Mutudho. The problem is other people.
Right. You were attempting to sing your own praises. Your work has been praised by the panelists here. What's your final thought to Kenyans, particularly as there's a lot of frustration with NACADA given the spates of alcohol-related deaths in the country?
I want to be fair to Parliament and say that if you look at the full clip of my friend Dalmas Otieno, what he said, that was the beginning. But if you look at the last closing remarks, he said exactly what David has said, that we need now to look and arm NACADA. Let it have the two. Let it not be like a dog that can only bark and cannot bite. That was his closing remark. And I really need to respect that particular bit. In terms of singing praises to me, my dear, I have to sing because I'm the only one in Africa who has been able to make a comprehensive law on alcohol in the world is very difficult, in the world of cartels, the intrigues and heavy money. It is very difficult. And it took 103 years from 17th of August 1907 to 13th of August 2010 to do a law when President Kibaki signed the laws into law. And why he did it in Mombasa and not in Nairobi is your guess. The pressure, Mingi, pressure. Even when you have done the law, to enact the law, pressure was still there. So we need to work all of us together. I want to thank you for allowing me to do this show. And I want to thank the media generally, because I've said it and I'm going to say it again and I'll repeat again. For free, you have done more than NACADA in terms of advocacy. And we work together in all this and have a sober Kenya.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Our time is up, and so we'll thank you, the chairman of NACADA, John Mutudho. Our thanks also to our panelists, Wotegi Njau and David Makali, for the robust questioning and opinions. My name is Udwa Kamimo. I'll thank you for watching and engaging with Cheche. We've been live on Citizen TV. Do enjoy the rest of your week.